Okay, so we are good to go. So thank you very much again for your comments. Like we've always said, we totally, of course, appreciate you for joining us today. So let's go back to our familiar African story. And what's that familiar African story? As Africans, in the past, we've always had this mindset of and desire of wanting to study in the US, study in Canada, in Germany, in France, wherever it is we can go to. So long as it guarantees us an excellent life, it guarantees our family an excellent opportunity for them to, of course, excel effortlessly without all of the anomalies that has encompassed the African continent. So what do? We all look for scholarships, we look for fellowships, we look for fully funded programs, we look for graduate assistantship, we look for research assistantship. We practically look for everything and anything that eases that burden of studying in the US or Canada. But of course, for you to get a scholarship or a fully funded opportunity, you either are a first-class graduate or a 2-1 graduate. We've never really had opportunities for 2-2 graduates or third-class graduates or even HND graduates getting direct fellowships or scholarship to study in the US or Canada. Even if we've had such cases, they've been the exception. So it means that if you're not fortunate to have a first class or a 2-1, and of course you're not fortunate to land a scholarship, majority of Africans will never be able to realize their ambition to study abroad. And of course, if you cannot study abroad, it means that you might not also be able to realize that aspiration to have a global career, working with global Fortune 500 companies. Now, the truth is, even with your first class or your 2-1, oftentimes only 1% of qualified Africans will largely get that fully funded opportunity to study in the US, Canada, France, Germany, Portugal, and every other country where our loans are fully applicable. Only 1% oftentimes of Africans will always qualify for such opportunities. Sorry, please, just 1 minute. So it means that if you do not get that scholarship or get that fellowship, to a large extent, your aspiration of studying abroad is likely dead on arrival. You can never really do anything, even aspiration. Why? Because you've obviously not gotten a fully funded opportunity. And when you do not get that scholarship or that fully funded opportunity, to a large extent, 95 or 98% of us cannot afford paying $40,000, $50,000 to study in the US or Canada or the UK or France or Germany. 95%, 98% of us cannot afford to, despite the desire, despite the aspiration, because only 1% of Africans every year get access to those fully funded opportunities, not because they do not like us, but because so many persons on the African continent cannot afford to fund their education. So they need to utilize scholarship or fellowships or graduate assistantship. But the thing is, they need to also select people from Asia, people from Europe, people from Latin America, people from North America, even people from the US themselves also require scholarship. In Africa, they need to select from West Africa. They need to select from Eastern Africa, from Southern Africa, from Central Africa, from the Northern region of Africa. In Asia, they need to select from Southeast Asia. They need to select from the eastern parts of Asia. So the truth is, when all of these demographies are divided, at the end of the day, even when you are qualified, even when you have good work history, even when you have made impact on society, even when you have an excellent grade, you will largely not or might not be able to access a fully funded opportunity. So in the past, when you do not get fully funded opportunity, what happens to you? You largely just give up on that dream. Is it that you try again the next year, or you entirely give up on that desire to study in the US or Canada. Like you totally just give up on that dream and that desire. It's a closed case because for you, you cannot necessarily do anything at all. And the truth is, everybody that aspires to study in the US or Canada should be able to study in the US or Canada. No matter your economic background, no matter your grade or the kind of degree you graduated with, everybody should have that opportunity to study in the US or Canada or the UK or Germany or France. Unfortunately, Nigeria is plagued with, of course, the ASU strike, our low quality education, and a lot of the issues that plague us in the African continent. But the good thing is that for many of us, despite the anomaly, we still have that global aspiration to dominate professionally from a global point of view. We still have that aspiration to put on our CV, on our resume, on our profile, the fact that, yes, I studied at this particular university in the US or the UK or Canada. Because you know it guarantees you long-term success, even success in case you want to return back to Africa after your education. There's a verifiable fact that states that when you have a foreign education on your degree, in fact, if you decide to come back home to Africa, your worth increases by 500%. Because anybody that understands American educational system knows that for you to get an admission to an American institution or a Canadian institution, that is enough validation of your high potentialness. And it doesn't matter whether they have the first class or a 2-1 or a 2-2 or you're an HND graduate. It does not matter. What matters is clarity of purpose. And that's exactly where Proconnectpay comes to play. You do not have funding, no problem. You do not have money, no problem. But you have that desire to dominate globally, then yes, Proconnectpay will fund you to study in any one of these countries where our loans are applicable. So for those of us nurturing that American dream, nurturing that Canadian dream, not just for yourself, but for your family members, for your children, for your offspring, for your parents, for people in your immediate circle, I can tell you for free that if your desire to relocate or emigrate is strictly driven by that desire to give your family a comfortable life outside of the continent, Proconnectpay will support you. If your desire is just ego-driven, I just want to acquire a global education. Nobody in my family have done so, or other members of my family have done so. So I need one on my CV to boost my ego and boost the way people see me professionally. I can tell you for free, Proconnectpay will fund you. If your desire is to have a soft life, you are tired of the hard life you had in Nigeria. Hard life, of course, not because you are suffering or because you are desperate, but hard life in insecurity, electricity issues, and all of the anomalies happening within the African ecosystem. And you just want a soft life in the US or Canada, and you want to utilize education as a pathway to get a good job when you graduate, I can tell you for free, Proconnectpay will fund you. For some of you, your long-term desire is not just to get permanent residency, but is to eventually get citizenship. I can tell you for free, Proconnectpay will fund you. Whatever your desires, whatever is driving you to take on this journey, Proconnectpay would ensure that we bring that dream to life. That is the whole essence of what we do in Proconnectpay. So the question every one of us will ask is, how does Proconnectpay power that dream? How does Proconnectpay power this aspiration of yours to study in the US and to study in Canada? How can we make it happen? How can we ensure that you're not just getting funded, but how do we ensure that you also pay back the money that, of course, is being invested in you? How do we ensure that you can actually get good opportunities when you graduate? Opportunities that align with the experience you have so far in Africa. How do we ensure that whatever it is we're going to be funding you with, and whatever schools are funding you to, that it's a school that offers a course we support, and a course that we find commercially relevant. Also, you would ask, Proconnectpay, what exactly does your loan cover? This $100,000 you give, what exactly does it do? Can you tell me, can I know? All of this information we will be sharing in the next 30 minutes. How do I pay back the money? How do you monitor us? How do you run a credit check on me? How do you verify? Will all of these things be documented? Everything you will get to know in the next 30 minutes. So first things first, Proconnectpay gives 100,000 US dollars, 100,000 US dollars maximum in international student loans. It means that we are not a charity. We're not doing fully funded scholarship. We give loans to people that want to study abroad. We give loans to people that want to study abroad. And the maximum amount you can get per annum is $50,000. In 2 years, 100,000 US dollars. So if your program is a 1-year program, we can fund you. If your program is a 2 years program, we can also fund you. If you're in this meeting and you have a family relation or a child or a cousin or a nephew or a niece or a godson that is currently a university undergraduate in an African university, and they are currently in 200 level, and they desire to complete their education in the US or Canada, Proconnectpay will fund you. You desire to study in the US or Canada, Proconnectpay will fund you. You desire to go and do a BSc as an HND undergraduate. I want to complete a 2 years BSc as a transfer student. Proconnectpay will fund you. You are a graduate, BSc graduate, first class graduate, second class graduate, second class upper, second class lower, and a third class graduate. Proconnectpay will fund you. Even as an HND graduate, if you decide that I want to do a direct master's on the back of my quality of experience in the US, Proconnectpay will fund you. Whether it's a 1-year master's or a 2-year master's, Proconnectpay will fund you. And the loan we give covers 4 major areas. We pay for your tuition, we pay for your living costs, we pay for your health insurance, and we also get to pay for your flight ticket out of Africa. Wherever you're connecting from across Africa, whether you're in Accra, whether you are in Namibia, whether you are in Rwanda, whether you are in Uganda, whether you are in Zimbabwe, whether you are in Malawi, whether you are here in Nigeria, Proconnectpay will pay for your flight ticket out of the motherland, directly to the school that you are resuming in. That is the job we do for you as candidates in Proconnectpay. So the question now that you might ask is, okay, Proconnectpay, how exactly does this loan work? How is it calculated? Is the money given to me directly, or will the money be paid to my school? What is the interest rate on the loan? How do I pay back the money? How many years can I pay back the money? We are going to see that calculation in a very, very short while. So for today, I'm going to use a lady to illustrate the way the loan works. So let me just look for a lady's name in this meeting. A lady's name, a lady's name, a lady's name, lady's name, lady's name, lady's name. So yes, I'm going to use Francisca Oji Egbe. Sorry, Francisca, if I didn't pronounce your surname properly. But we're going to use Francisca as our example for today. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Then later, I'm going to share my automated calculator for us to understand clearly. So let's say Francisca wants to do an MSc in animal science. Francisca, sorry, I don't know that's the program you want to do. So let's say Francisca wants to do an MSc in animal science. Now, do you know why we're going to fund Francisca for an MSc in animal science? Because an MSc in animal science is a STEM designated program in the United States. It is a STEM designated program. So it means that Francisca, once she graduates, automatically, Francisca will first collect 3 years optional work training to enable her to get a good job. 3 years, she will collect automatically because she studied a course that is designated as a STEM program. So that's something for us to keep at the back of our mind. We're coming back to that later. Because she's studying a STEM designated program, Francisca automatically will collect 3 years postgraduate work opportunities. So we love courses like that because Francisca doesn't have to stress to look for a job. Opportunities will open up to her because the company doesn't need to start hustling work permit for her immediately. Within 3 years, Francisca should have proved and metal enough in the company she'll be working with for them to now decide that, okay, Francisca is worth our investment. Let us do work permit for her. And that's how Francisca automatically gets permanent residency. Because in 3 years, it is enough time for Francisca to approve her metal in the workplace. So let's imagine that Francisca wants to go to Kansas State University in Kansas. And of course, the program that Francisca is going for is a 2 years program. A 2 years program. So it means Francisca will need our loan for the first year and for the second year of her education. She will need our loan for the first year and the second year of her education, our MSc program in animal science, a STEM designated program that guarantees her 3 years postgraduate work opportunities immediately. Enough time for Francisca to prove her metal so that our employer can now process work permit for her, getting her permanent residency automatically. 2 years. So please, I just want to be sure that every one of us are following what I've been saying earlier. Guys, please, can you tell me the 4 major things our loan covers in the comments? Can you tell me what are the 4 major things our loan covers, the 4 major components our loan covers? Can we please tell me the 4 major components our loan covers? Can we please tell me in the comments? What are the 4 major components that the Proconnectpay loan covers? I already said it before, so I just want to be sure that everybody, thank you for Ikemi, Tushon, yes. So please more information. What are the 4 things that our loan covers? What are the 4 components our loan covers? Yes, health insurance, yes. Flight tickets, yes. Yes, so cost of living, COL. Thank you very much, Yusuf. Yes, good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for your responses. Totally grateful. So, Tushon, cost of living, we usually place them by the hierarchy of importance. Tuition is important, but without cost of living, you will just die of hunger. So cost of living is the next second most important thing. Then of course, health insurance. You do not want to find yourself abroad. Sickness as simple as malaria that we buy Panadol or paracetamol for how much? $100. Over there in the US and Canada, you can spend almost $1,000 if you do not have health insurance to treat malaria. So it's made compulsory that everybody must have an health insurance to protect yourself and your pocket in future in case you fall sick. And of course, you get to pay for your flight tickets. Flight tickets are tagged at $3,000 straight up. 3,000 US flight ticket, everybody. So let's calculate the amounts Francisca will need in her first year. The amount Francisca will need in her first year. So let's calculate the total amount. So at tuition for animal science in her first year, yeah, let's say 15,600 USD. That's the tuition Francisca needs in her first year for her tuition. Her cost of living, because Kansas is not like a very expensive state, it's not the kind of states that Things are not so expensive. Things are not cheap. Just average. Makes sense. So with about $8,800, Franciscans can live comfortably in the state of Kansas for 1 year. A living cost for a living cost covers accommodation, our feeding, our utility bill, our phone plan, our internet plan, buying new clothes, buying textbook, transportation within the school, within the city, a little jaye, maybe Franciscan likes to flex once a while in the city. So all of this cost is covered under cost of living. Now, please, just to state this, we do not guess how much you need for the loan. No. Every university abroad has a breakdown of how much you need for your tuition, how much you need for your cost of living. They will send it to you as part of their requirements. So we already have this information from their website. So you cannot just bring a random detail or data to come and give to us. No, it has to be factual information based off what the university gives to you. So in some cases, your tuition might be cheaper or more expensive. Your cost of living might be cheaper or more expensive, depending on the school and the city that you are going to. Of course, if you go to cities like this, Washington, DC, state of Washington, New York, those are very expensive cities. It's just like Lagos and Abuja, very expensive. But if you go to states like Ebonyi State, or some states abroad, yeah, because of living in those kind of states will also be way cheaper. So health insurance for Kansas, yeah, Kansas State University, per annum, my probably just be about 2,600 USD. So this is the total amount that Francisca will need in her first year. So let's do the calculation with our calculator. Of course, in the spirit of transparency, I love showing everybody my calculator also, so that everybody will be seeing with their own eyes how I'm calculating this thing. So remember that our tuition for our first year is $15,600 US. $15,600 US. For our second year, that would be for our cost of living for our first year, $8,800 US. So $15,600 plus $8,800 US plus $2,600 US, which is our health insurance per annum. Then the last cost, $3,000 US. $3,000 US. So in total, Francisca needs $30,000 US in our first year. In total, Francisca will need $30,000 US for our first year loan. Small money, shaking money will fund Francisca effortlessly. So these are first year loan. In our second year, Francisca also needs the same amount, but we are going to remove the flight tickets from the money. We are removing flight tickets. So it means that when we remove $3,000 flight tickets, what Francisca needs in our second year is $27,000 US. $27,000 US. That's what Francisca needs in our second year. $27,000 US. So let's calculate in total. 27,000 plus, of course, if it was 30,000, that would have been 60,000. But because I've removed 3,000, so it means that the total loan that Francisca needs for a 2 years program will be $57,000 US. $57,000 US. That will be the total amount of loan that Francisca will need for a 2 years education, successful 2 years education without stress. So Francisca, I can tell you for free, man, will fund you effortlessly for this amount. Effortlessly for this amount. So let's quickly do something. Now let's check how much Francisca, the potential of total loan needed for 2 years. $57,000 US. So let's check quickly. Now in Proconnectpay, we don't like using mouths to tell people things, because if you look like as if we're just talking, we don't know what we're saying. So we like to use data to find out information. We like to use data to find out. So you guys see as I'm going to browse right now. I'm going to browse up information. So I want to check how much can a MSc graduate of animal science earn in the United States? So how much can an MSc graduate of animal science earn in the United States per annum? Let's check what Google tells us. So if you study animal science based on a particular website, it says animal science. Okay, let's just open that and see. But once we're opening that, let me also see if I can see better results from my search here. Let me see if I can see this. Okay, so I'm opening something else. Okay, so I'm seeing something here too. Okay, so from what we can see here, animal science in the United States. So typically earn about $60,000 annually. Animal scientists in the United States typically earn about $60,000 annually. Somebody says that the highest average salary is about $101,000. So it means you probably need to be like experienced, work for a lot of years to earn up to that. But of course, animal scientists in the US typically earn $60,000 per annum. So we're seeing on that information here, the average salary for animal scientists in the United States is around $65,000 per year. Salaries typically start from $46,000 and can go up to $129,000. So because we mostly use the average amount when we look at all of this data and information. So let's use the average amount of $60,000, being that we're seeing between 60 to 129. So let's use $60,000 as the amount that Francisca has the potential to earn when she graduates from school. So our average earning per annum when she graduates. So maybe about 60,000 US. So Francisca, if you earn this much in the US, it's not like much compared to MBA graduates or compared to engineering graduates. But if you earn this much in the US, trust me, Francisca, you can live a very comfortable life in the US, very comfortable lifestyle in the United States. Now, the interest rates on our loan per annum is 11.99% if you're a postgraduate student, and it is 13.99% if you are going for undergraduate education. 13.99% if you are going for undergraduate education. If you are going for postgraduates, 11.99%. If you are going for undergraduates, it is 13.99% calculated per annum. And yes, you can pay back the loan in 10 years or less. You can pay back our loan in 10 years or less, maximum 120 months, which is 10 years. You can even pay back the loan in less than 10 years, totally dependent on you. You are totally allowed to. And the good thing is that, see, our loan is paid on reducing balance. So it means that as the loan is reducing, you are paying your interest based on reducing balance. And if you decide to pay back your loan in 5 years, you will only pay interest for 5 years, only. So you are paying double what you're supposed to pay. Your interest will be reducing based on that double you are paying. And if you decide to pay back the loan in 5 years, you only pay interest for 5 years. There's no penalty in paying ahead of time. None at all. None, nothing. So you are very good to go. Very makes sense, good to go. So let's now calculate what it comes to. But now let me just state this. As a student, this $30,000 that Francisca needs in her first year will not be given to her. We're not going to give Francisca the money in Nigeria or in Ghana or in Malawi or in Rwanda. The loan will be paid directly to Kansas State University, where Francisca is going to. Directly to Kansas State University. That is where we're going to pay the loan to straight. Francisca is not going to see couple of that money in Africa. Of course, if you give Francisca $30,000 in Nigeria, Francisca, will you go to school? You don't go to school now. I say, I'm going to start business. So, why will I go and suffer when I can use money to do business? If you times $30,000 times 700, black market rate now, that's almost 21 million naira. Abi, if I'm right. Right? 30,000 times 700. Yeah, that's 21 million. Francisca will say that, guys, I'm going to go start a new business. I don't need to go and study anymore. Just give me the money, I'll go and start the business. So the money will be paid directly to our school. Now, between 45 to 60 days after Francisca's loan has been disbursed to our school, Francisca will be expected to begin to pay the interest on the loan only, just the interest only, 45 to 60 days after the loan has been disbursed to Francisca's school. 45 to 60 days after the loan has been disbursed, we would expect her to begin to pay the interest on the loan for that first year. So it means that Francisca will need to get a job on campus. Every university has a job center and they have jobs for students. So if Francisca works 20 hours every week, Francisca can earn between $800 to $1,500 monthly. In fact, let this unofficial information. Francisca can work on campus and still work off campus in all those bars, eateries. Of course, they'll pay her direct cash, so long as it doesn't clash with her academic work. So long as it doesn't clash with her academic work. So this is that Francisca can do a job or two to ensure she's earning enough just to service the interest on the loan only, just that interest on the loan. So 11.99 times 30,000 divided by 12. We'll still come to that figure. In a second year, we will now disburse another $27,000 US. This time, Francisca will begin to service the entire $57,000 US. Remember that in her first year, she was only servicing the loan. She was not paying back the main principal. So she's still owing us $30,000. We will now top up the money again with another $27,000. She will now begin to service the interest on $57,000 in total in her second year. And she doesn't need connection to get a job on campus. Every university has a job center where you can easily get a job. So let's calculate exactly what Francisca will be paying in interest rates. Let all of us see it with our own eyes. So luckily, we're using GTBank loan calculator because their GTBank loan calculator directly aligns with the way we calculate our loan. So we're going to use GTBank loan calculator just to make it very easy, rather than we typing plenty things. So let's say in our first year, Francisca collected $30,000. The interest rate is 11.99%. And she's going to pay for 1 year, which is 12 months. Okay. So so this payment here is going to look weird to some of us. So I'll just explain what it means. Now, Francisca has 1 year to just service the interest on the loan. So the total interest that Francisca will pay for our first year is $1,983 US. $1,983 US. That is the total amount that she's going to pay in her first year. So this $1,983 US is what we'll now divide by 12. So $1,983 US divided by 12. So on a monthly basis, Francisca will need to be paying $165 US on a monthly basis. And Francisca can pay that money effortlessly on her own. She'll be paying $165 US for my $800 to $1,000 US she's earning. So she has a lot of money to save for the raining day. In fact, Francisca can decide that during the holidays, she does not want to work. She wants to come back to Nigeria to her family. So she can even use her money she has saved to pay for the 1 month she'll be away and travel home conveniently, buy a return ticket already because she leaves the US, so that the relationship will not tire there, and come and go seamlessly. So in her first year, she'll be paying $155. Now let's now calculate what she gets to pay in her second year as interest, looking at the fact that the loan has increased to $57,000. So let's calculate what it is. So at $57,000, the total loan that Francisca will be paying in her second year will be $3,769. The last figure down in number 6. So $3,769 USD divided again by 12. So that will be $314 US. $314 US. That is the amount she'll be paying in her second year. $314 US. Now, one of the major things we look at when we're approving our loans for candidates, we also look at your earning potential per annum. So it means that whatever loan we're giving to you, your earning potential for the course you are going to must not exceed your average earning per annum. So if Francisca's loan exceeded $60,000 US, we might not approve a loan, or we'll tell Francisca to go and look for another school that is cheaper. So any loan you have to collect from us, we're going to compare it to the data available online in the US, which are credible information. So if you're coming to us for a loan, your earning capacity per annum, we're going to just juxtapose your total loan amounts to the total earnings per annum. Because that's what to make us know that it will be easy for you to pay back our loan when you graduate. So let's now calculate. Francisca is now owing us $57,000 US. And the interest rate is calculated at 11.99%. Remember, she can pay back our loan in 10 years. In 10 years. So I'm going to add 0 to this 120. Let us now see how much she's going to be paying us monthly. Now, monthly means that when she graduates from school and gets a job, she begins to pay back the interest and the principal divided into 10 years, and it's based on reducing balance. So our monthly payment will be $817 US. $817 US. So let's divide a salary. If she's earning $60,000 US per annum, divided by 12, that's an average of $5,000 US. Let's now say she's paying tax on a salary of about 15%. So 5,000 times 16% divided by 100. So she's paying $750 on a 5,000 salary as interest, as tax. So 5,000 minus 750 will be 4,250. 4,250. You will now minus again our loan repayment of $817 US monthly. So the money that Francisca is left with after she has paid back her tax, after she has paid back our loan repayment monthly, Francisca will be left with $3,433 US. $3,433 US. That is enough money for Francisca to pay her rent, pay our taxes, and pay our utility expense, even buy a car on credit and be paying small, pay our health insurance, feed herself, and even send money home to village people without stress. And do not forget that that 50K that she's earning is her first salary post-graduation as a master's graduate. So it means that 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, Francisca should be earning way more than $60,000 US. So she can conveniently and easily pay back our loan without stress, without issues. So this brings me now to that important point I made before. Proconnectpay will only fund you if you are studying courses that we deem commercially relevant. So it means that you have to be studying courses in sciences, health sciences, technology, engineering, mathematics, or an MBA. For undergraduates, management-oriented courses, business-oriented courses, entrepreneurship and innovation-oriented courses. If you come to us and say you want to study international relations, we would advise you to go and study a course that is more in alignment to commercial relevant courses. And please let me say this. We do not fund you based on what you studied in your first degree. No, we will fund you based on what you currently do professionally. So it means that if you're going to take our loan, you must take our loan for a course that is consistent with your work history. You cannot take our loan if you do not have experience in that particular field. We will largely not fund you. So the person that said you want to study international relations, it's very possible that your work does not have anything to do at all with international relations. So it's your responsibility for us to ask about your work history. Then when we get your work history, we can now advise you appropriately on the courses and programs you can take on. We do not fund social work. We do not fund education inclined courses. We do not fund art-based courses. We strictly fund STEM-oriented courses, health-oriented courses, and business-oriented courses, an MBA or a management course. Because this guarantees that you can get postgraduate work opportunities and you can also get very good pay when you graduate. And like we say in Proconnectpay, we do not influence admission processing. We don't influence visa processing. But part of the benefit you get on our platform is we get to guide you, we get to mentor you, we get to nurture you. And we'll be able to do so successfully for a lot of candidates that have admission, that have gotten visa. It's part of the benefit you get when you become a member of the Proconnectpay Japa network. We help you apply for your loan. We help you to make it effortless. Haven't agreed on the school you want to go to. So if you're a second-class graduate or an HND graduate or a third-class graduate, you can only focus on the US. US schools are the ones that will consider admitting you on the strength of your work experience. 2-1 graduates, first-class graduates can all focus on Canada. If you're an HND graduate and you are young, below 40 years old, and you're willing to do a BSc, like you go and convert and do 300 level and 400 level, you can then go and do a BSc in Canada. But HND graduates do not get admitted in Canada. 2-2 graduates, unfortunately, do not get admitted in Canada also. But we will guide you all the way to your visa processing. And just to state this clearly, like I said before, we do not influence admission. Getting admission is your sole responsibility. We can guide you, we can nurture you, we can give you information and access to tools that makes it easy for you, like we already do for candidates on our platform. But the sole responsibility of getting an admission, of researching on the schools that fit your desires, is totally yours. And anyone obviously that wants to access our loan, access our counsel, access our mentoring weekly, and access the managers that will be assigned to you, you have to become a member of the Proconnectpay Japa network. For anyone interested in going to the UK, you want to go to the UK, you want to go to France, you want to go to Germany, we only fund MBA courses in the UK, France, Germany, only business courses in Ivy League business schools, Oxford, London Business School, Manchester Business School. We do not fund all other programs in the UK or Europe. So it means that if you are going to UK, you have to be an high income earner. Only high income earners that earn up to $70,000 per in Naira, that should be about 40 million naira, can qualify for our loans to the UK. Now, what the UK is a little different is because we do not expect candidates that go to the UK and that earn that much to actually emigrate or Japa when they are done. They strictly work with very good companies and they earn so much here. So that education they are aspiring for in the UK or France or Germany is strictly to help them acquire a global education and come back to their very good jobs. But if you do not earn that much and your goal is to use this as a pathway to Japa to emigrate, please, you will need to focus on US and Canada. And like I said, we will guide you all through. We do not expect you to just go for your visa interview without our guidance. We get to guide you. We get to even give you a support letter, which we send to your school, which your school will enable them to release your visa documentation, clearly stating that we are funding you. So the question that you might ask me is that, okay, Elder, I haven't explained all of these things, and I have an understanding of your processes. So what next? What next? The first step is joining, like I earlier mentioned, the Proconnectpay Japa network. Joining the Proconnectpay Japa network. If you are joining today and you have 22,000 naira to pay, you pay once. Once you pay 22K, we get to add it to our WhatsApp group. We assign a manager to you. We suggest schools to you based on our records. Whether you're a first class graduate, 2-1 graduate, 2-2 graduate, third class graduate. If you do not have an idea of what you want to study, or you do not have like a clearly defined career path, it does not matter. We get to counsel you and we teach you how to build something you can use and apply into schools abroad. That's why you have online courses. That's why you have volunteer opportunities to help you build that capacity and history to enable you to compete for admission. Trust me, anybody that gets admission to an American or Canadian institution is one of the biggest validation you can have on your career as an individual. So you clap for yourself, pat yourself on the back if you get an admission to the US or Canada. It is not easy. You are competing with people across the world for that limited space. So we assign a manager to you that will guide you. That manager helps you apply for your loan while we guide you in your school application. We can suggest schools to you based on our records. Schools that do not require GRE, that do not require GMAT, that do not require IELTS, TOEFL. We know all of those exams can be very stressful and expensive. So we encourage people to choose schools that do not mandate all of those exams. And the best part is, if your goal and desire is to resume in January of 2023, this is the best time to get started. If you do not have 22K to pay at once today, but you are interested in wanting to start up, then please, you can pay 12K, but that 12K is only applicable to HND graduates, third class graduates, and 2-2 graduates. Yes, first class and 2-1 can also pay 12K if you want to. If you still don't have 12K to pay, only first class and 2-1 graduates can pay 6.5 and balance the remaining in 4 weeks of 2 installments, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So if you're a first class or 2-1 graduate, you can pay 6.5 today. If you're an HND graduate, a 2-2 graduate, a third class graduate, you can pay 12K today. But if you're a university undergraduate or a general graduate, you have to pay 22K today if you can afford to. But undergraduates do not have an option. They only pay one-off upfront, 22K. The money you pay, you're not paying to apply for a loan. You are paying to join our Japa network. And through that Japa network, we assign a manager to you that guides you. We help you apply for your loan. You take part in our weekly mentoring that we do on Wednesdays. Then on Monday, Wednesdays morning, Wednesdays afternoon, and on Friday evenings, we usually do what we call career discovery program. You're having an issue deciding on the school, on the course. We do that career discovery to suggest schools to you. In Proconnectpay, just to be very clear, we are not a desperado platform for immigration. You are lazy, you are not mentally fit, you are not ready to do the hard work, you are just desperate to want to leave this country anyhow, and you do not have an exciting or something that can even show a little history and commitment to your growth. Please do not bother joining our platform, because Proconnectpay is a do-it-yourself platform. We're an intellectual platform. We're a platform for high potential candidates. Your degree does not matter, so long as you are willing to do the work. We will admit you into the Proconnectpay Japa network. So long as you are willing to do the work. We do not fund riffraffs. We do not fund anyhow individuals. We only fund high potential candidates. Candidates that are committed to their professional growth and success. Candidates that in 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years time, we can invite you back on our platform to serve as an inspiration to others that are taking the same journey you want to take. Yes, we invite people that are taking your same journey you're about to take on our platform to share their stories. It's part of the benefit you get being a member of the Proconnectpay Japa network. And our counseling, our advice does not end when you leave Nigeria or Ghana. It continues even when you resume abroad. It continues when you eventually graduate until you've gotten a good job. And of course, you're paying back our money. Then we can begin to less our time in your face. But we'll still invite you to come and inspire others too, like we are doing for others that have gone ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, the first step you should be taking is joining the Proconnectpay Japa network. If you're a first class and 2-1 graduates, you can pay 6.5. But please, in paying 6.5, we are going to do a KYC on you. A KYC is know your customer to verify your data and to check your credit worthiness. So we'll give you a form to fill where you have to impute your BVN. We're a fintech company, so we're legally allowed to cross-check your credit history. If you're also paying 12K as an HND graduate or a BSc graduate or a third class graduate, we'll still do the same KYC on you. But if you're paying 22K upfront, one-off, then you do not need to pay that money. You do not need, sorry, you do not need to run, we do not need to run a KYC on you at all. You join now, whether you pay 6.5 or you pay 12K or you pay 22K, we get you started immediately. If you are committed to the process, you can be done in a week. Before we used to use ASU, that NASU is on strike, non-academic staff. Thank God, NASU have called up their strike. So we can no longer use NASU as an excuse. So it means that we cannot begin to work on getting our transcript. And the good thing is that we offer students alternatives to get their transcript physically by sending it. They say they can send it to us. So that way, you can have a copy for yourself and see that you're going to be sending it abroad to them when you finally got in an admission. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, please you can raise up your hand. If you have a question, please you can raise up your hand. I'm also going to be reading the comments to be answering the questions I can see in the comments. But please, if you know you have a question, please you can raise up your hand to ask your questions. So let me just read the comments quickly. Okay. So if you have a question, please you can raise up your hand. Okay, so Agro Rebet Consult. I think I've answered your question on your animal science. That's a very good course to study. Every other courses I've seen above, data analytics, business analytics, an MBA, make sense program, an MSc in accounting would rather suggest I go for an MBA. But yeah, MSc accounting also makes sense. We found that MSc project management totally funded. So my colleague have shared the list of schools we partner with. Please, the list of schools are on each sheet. You see the name of countries on each sheet. So you need to go to each of the sheets to see the list of the schools for each countries we work in. Does the loan also cover family too? No, our loan does not cover for family. It only covers for individual. But if yourself and your husband or your wife want to study abroad and the both of you are interested in using education as a pathway, we can fund you and can fund your husband, or can fund you and can fund your wife. The money we give to you is calculated independently. So when you add up the money together, that's a lot of money because they're not paying rent twice. They're not paying feeding twice. They're not paying all those utility expense twice. So that money can obviously take care of your kids when you want to leave. So yes, we have a lot of purpose on our platform, Yes, Jay, project management is a self-designated program to fund. Coyote, yes, US schools accept HND graduates with work experience. So it's a function of you selling yourself to the school. What if Francisca is married and wants to go to her husband and study civil engineering? So I already answered that question about marriage. If Francisca, of course, husband is saying he must go with her, then we would also encourage Francisca's husband to go through the educational pathway. That's the easiest way to relocate abroad. Trust me, anything outside of that, your visa will be bounced with speed. It's not possible. Francisca can actually get a job within 45 days. You're not going to hustle the job. Every university has a job center. Every university has a job center. So it's your job to go to that job center to look for a job. If you don't get a job on campus, then of course, they'll give you special concession to get a job outside of campus. All of those concessions can be given, can be negotiated with each school. But I've never heard a school that say where there's just scarcity. I've never heard of that. How many students do you pay their fees in a semester? I don't understand that question, Festus. But yeah, bioinformatics is a program we're going to fund. Do you graduate programs in energy geosciences? Brainiac Shedrack, your program looks like a STEM designated program, so obviously something that we can fund for educational guidance transition into data analytics. Yes, of course. Along Femi, that's totally possible. Very, very possible. Very possible. With that experience, you already said it. You have certification. I will probably also imagine that you've also looked at opportunities to volunteer to practice those skills. We have a candidate that does not have experience in data analytics, but she did the same thing you've done. Took online courses, volunteered on some platforms, and because of that, she works as a teacher. They gave her an admission for data analytics MS based off her volunteering experience, based off the online courses she took. What if I've gotten admission and I need funding? Gabriel is the same thing, but of course, we will need to know your course you've gotten admission to and the school you've gotten admission to. Do you fund BS in accounting for USA? Of course, Jay, that's a commercially relevant program. Why the distinction? Festus, I don't know what you mean by why the distinction. Can I switch my career path? Dependent on what you want to switch to, Clarissa, dependent on what you want to switch to. You cannot switch, for example, from something to nursing. We don't allow that kind of switch. No school in the US or Canada will admit you to that program if you do not practice as a nurse in Nigeria. So please do not be deceived by people tell you, nursing. There are a lot of mixes of opportunities you can go for with your background. You just need our counsel, and we can counsel you appropriately. What if Francisca is a medical lab? Is a medical lab scientist? Just going to go to children. Can they feed expense cover and a kid also? So Francisca, like I said before, our loan is only calculated for the students, the applicants. We do not include your family. If you want to relocate with your family, you would have to look for extra money to cover for them. But if you and your husband decide to go through the educational pathway, yeah, the Canada guys might still tell you to bring proof of funds. But the good thing is that our funding will be sufficient enough to cover for you and your family. So even if you bring your proof of funds, it will just be small money, just to show that you still have your skin invested in your children's expense. Festus, if you apply today, you can get your loan approved within 24 hours. We've seen cases where loans get approved, even as a candidate, as we're still filling the loan application. So it's totally dependent on your loan details, and of course, you are having all of your basic details immediately. Femi, asking me what is the visa success rate is not a good question. I'm not the US consulate, I'm not the visa officer. I cannot answer that question. Can you put the list of schools in Canada that does not require? Olatunde, like seriously, why we go to school the list? You have to join our network. Then, of course, when you join the network, we can recommend schools to you based off what other candidates have chosen that do not require that. But we do not share that list publicly unless you're a member of the Proconnectpay Japa network. Can one use student transcripts? Femi, some schools accept student transcripts, some schools don't accept it. We advise candidates to focus on schools that accept student copy. What about job recommendation after graduation? Brainet, I believe if you listen to everything I said before, why should we give you job recommendation if you're studying a course that is deemed commercially relevant, and if you're studying a course that is also consistent with your work experience? The job you have in Nigeria today, is somebody recommended to it? Need to get the job on merit. So it's the same thing. You go to school, graduate well, do all of your networking, follow all of the counsel mentoring will be given to you. Getting a job will not be a problem. This is not Africa where you have to pray for a job. Job opportunities are there. Graphic design, no sir. Link to the school support. But if you want to do something on animation, MSc, we can support that. For the iPhone that is asking graphic design, your contact list. Please, my colleagues, can we drop the link, our WhatsApp link for Ambush to chat us up? What about project management? Of course, project management makes sense. Okay, and MSc management. Yeah, MSc management makes a lot of sense. Depending on, of course, the kind of program that it is, we'll review the course and decide if it makes sense or not. Do you fund petroleum and energy? Brilliant. Which kind of question we ask now? You're already asking me better question, like petroleum and energy geosciences. See the course now, petroleum, money, oil, energy. Yes, now, we will go for that kind of program. That's an excellent program, man. Like, you didn't even ask. You should know that we're going to fund the program like that. Your first 200, your 100 level to 200 level transcript will obviously be required. You do not need your 300 level because you are painting a picture that you want to come and start your 300 level over there. Now, Info TSA, let me even tell you this. Let me tell you this. There are some schools in US we've seen. that will even admit you in 400 level. They have this BS MS connection where you do 1 year BS, like final year, and now jump into an MS. Schools in the US, they do it. You do 1 year BSc, which is final year, then you can do a 1 year master's. If you join the Japa network and know what you want to study, we can suggest that school to you. A lot of schools that have that BS MS pathway. 1 year final year, 1 year master's. And you graduate with a BSc and a master's in 2 years. You just throw your Nigerian certificate away. How live for couples to study in the same school? J West, that's a funny question, man. How can you say how I want to do it? If you and your wife want to study in the same school, you should choose the same school now and choose the same course. We have couples doing the same thing. They go to the same school and the same. So you cannot choose the same course. When you choose the same school that offers the courses you are interested in, that is consistent with your work experience. So asking me that how will we do it? No, that's not a good question too. What you should say is, okay, can myself and my wife go to the same school? Yes, the both of you can go to the same school. We have couples on our platform currently doing the same thing. I be in environmental management, but not in my career path to tech. I'm currently going through training for cloud security and DMS. Can I apply for study IT for MSc? So, Clarissa, I cannot answer the question of can I apply. We do not tell people what to apply for. If you say you're already in training for cloud security engineering, the question is, how long have you been training? Do you have basic internship experience to back up your training? If you have all of those basics and you know you have the technical knowledge to prove, you can reach out to schools in the US or Canada willing to admit you. But asking me for permission that when I can, no, I shouldn't. You know what you want, and you know the steps you've taken already to invest in what you want. So if you think that this is what you want to do, then you go for it. It's not going to look for a school that will not say that you must have a BSc in computer science before they will admit you. That let your training and your little internship experience, that I think this is sufficient for me, sir, and ma. Will you consider me for admission? So don't ask for permission from us whether you can apply. You know what you want to do with your life, and you've already taken steps already in the direction. So what you should not be saying is, okay, guys, how can I get started? And give me the list of your schools. Let me begin to look for schools I can begin to pitch myself to apply. The good thing is I have a 2-1. So your degree is no longer the problem. It's now looking for schools willing to give you that shot as admission. But you cannot know that until you join the Japa network, and of course you get started. Sir, how to get transcripts? No, I've already said that one already. Ajala, that transcript matter is not the problem. Right now, your major focus should be joining the Japa network. When you join the Japa network and you need transcripts very fast, we can now rephrase that information again to you. I just said that as added bonus, but it's not something I'm saying here at all. I have a son study accounting BSc. Jay, if she's studying accounting currently in Nigeria and she wants to transfer to continue accounting, why not? Totally fine. Well, let her get started immediately. We'll get her started immediately. Hi, please, must you have a certain amount in your account before your loan can be released? I don't know what you mean by that question, Abiola. You're coming to us for a loan. So why do you need a certain amount in your account before your loan can be released? Like, why do you need that? You came to us for money, right? So I don't see how that is relevant in this instance. You're coming to us for money. We're the ones giving you money. So why would you need a certain amount in your account for your loan to be released? What is the money that will be needed on the side of undergraduate student when processing the admission apart from paying for Proconnectpay? God, info TSC. Now this kind of question I don't like to see. How can you ask me a question like this now? I don't own the school. I don't know how much they pay. We have over 4,500 courses across all the schools. Do you really think I should know how much the school is going to charge for application fee? There are schools that give free application waiver. There are schools that say you must pay. There are schools that say this or that. I cannot no bother. You just have to get started, man. You just have to get started. If you want to calculate all your expenses you're going to spend before you start, trust me, you will never start anything. Never ever start anything. So take that first step of paying and joining. When you join in, if you say that, okay, me, I don't want to pay application fee, and I'm willing to do the hard work of getting free application waiver, is that your job to go begin to attend webinars that the school hosts every week? And the webinars, they should share free application codes there. And the webinars, they also issue, if you will send them an email direct to some schools, they can see waive application fee for you. So, TSA, that question is not a good question. You need to join. When you join, you now begin to take the steps. But you have to calculate how much you think you will spend in total before you join. Trust me, anybody that has that kind of mindset will never, ever make any progress because they will never, ever start. You cannot do graphic design iPhone, but if you want to do something around animation, Animation is a STEM designated program that we can fund, yes, for a master's. So, Olua Bukola, rather than saying MSc management, we'll first have to understand your background. You're just saying MSc management. Honestly, I don't know what you mean by MSc management. If you work in the world of business, in the business-oriented field, I don't think you should go for an MSc management. You rather go for an MBA. You can go for an MBA focused on management. That's that specialization. And we have schools that offer that kind of program. But when you just say MSc management, to me, I don't know what it means. But if you say an MBA with a focus on specialization in management, yes, that can go. And we have a lot of MBA programs that do not mandate GRE or mandate GMATs. Of course, Festus, you'll be at 22K now. We'll know the KYC on you. We join you immediately and we get started immediately. What factors make your loan approved and was one get admission first? No, Jay, you do not need an admission to get your loan approved or to even get started. Your loan application and your school admission processing can run side by side together at the same time. Your loan admission processing and your school admission processing can run side by side simultaneously. So even if you do not have an admission, you don't know where to start from, join the Japa network today and we'll get you started immediately. So long as you do not have a bad credit history, you're not having one bank that are owing money and you refuse to pay them and they've not blacklisted your name by reporting to credit bureau. Everything else, if you follow our advice and counsel, your loan will be approved. Okay. Is an H ending of that and the lower credit scanner. So B, to that question, like I always tell people, if you have a third class, you have a low 2-2, whether you're an HND graduate or a BSc graduate, but you have good work experience, you can sell. My guy or my lady, that is exactly what you sell. US schools don't just admit on just degree. For some of them, at least I work with, they also admit on your pedigree outside of your education. Okay, you have a third class, no problem. But what have you done professionally? What have you achieved? What impact have you made? If you can communicate all of these things in English, write it, type it, and send to them as an email, they will be willing to consider you for admission. We have schools like that that accept low grades. So we suggest those schools to our candidates for them to write an email and pitch themselves. Is the Japa network a WhatsApp group? Of course, Jay, everything we do is on WhatsApp. We're not a WhatsApp group, we're a professional group. But of course, when you become a member of the Japa network, we add you to our WhatsApp group. Please, open me. Can we drop the link, the WhatsApp link, so that as people are making their payments, they can also chat us up. I'm not saying that link at all in these chats. Then my parents is school, I'm not even admission yet, and another my manager is saying tuition, COL, blah, 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 blah. So, Ajala, you're asking the wrong question in the wrong group. If you're a member of the Japa network, please don't be asking questions about your application. Olatunde Omotosho, why on earth will you need POF when you're collecting a loan? Like, I don't understand. You're collecting a loan to study abroad. Why do you need POF? Why? Everybody collecting our loans, we give them letter of support. The letter of support we issue is exactly what you present to the US and Canada. And it's clearly stated on your visa documentation. So why do you need POF when you're coming to collect a loan? B, even if you have a PhD and you want to apply for an MSc again, like I said, everybody's welcome to apply. Your work experience matters. It's not just about applying for an MSc in business analytics. What do you do? So it's your work history that determines what course you decide to go for. B, trust me, man, my advice will make more sense when you join the network. We have a clear understanding of your work history, then we can advise appropriately. But yes, anytime, any day, I would advise an MBA over any other program. But business analytics too is a very good course because that's a technology-oriented program. Okay, so let me get to people that raised up their hand. Okay, so Jay, you have the floor. Please go and unmute and ask your question.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear loud and clear?
Afternoon. You've answered most of my questions. Just one quick one. What are the job prospects or career prospects with project management in comparison with something like MBA? Because I heard you talk about MBAs are regarded in the US. and they're quite expensive. So I wanted to just make a comparison to aid my decision making. That's one question. Okay, finish. Answer that first.
Okay. So, Jay, honestly, the major reason I can't give like a definite response to that question is because an MBA is a totally different ball game from project management. People don't go for project management just for the sake of going for project management. You go for project management on the back of a career, either in supply chain or in construction or in IT project management or in IT project management. So it's the sector of your skills that determines what you decide, what you eventually get to earn. So anybody going for an MSc in project management, they're not just going there on the back of, I want to go and do PM. No, your PM has to be on the basis of a career path you built in a particular sector.
Okay.
So that sector you're going to that determines how much you earn. Anybody going for an MBA also is someone that's either interested in finance or management or marketing or supply chain or business analytics or data analytics or the general MBA. If of course you probably do not have like a clearly defined career path yet, but yet you want to do an MBA. So an MBA is quite broad, but depending on the sector of an MBA you are going for too. People go for an MBA in finance, they tend to earn the highest of all of the MBAs. Because of course, finance is like the driver of world economy. You talk of investment banking, you talk of private equity, venture capital, banking itself, wealth management, all of the plenty areas of finance. But I cannot say which MBA pays the most. No, because it is your specific career path that determines that. So everybody's case is really treated as per who you are and what history you have. They cannot counsel appropriately.
But so long as, okay, for instance, if I hypothetically get an MSc in project management, I come from a supply chain background, especially
Baba,
in the energy
sector. Excellent field, man. And that field pays very well in the US and Canada.
Okay.
Like it pays well, man. If you even want to do an MSc in supply chain management, we'll fund you also. Because that is STEM designated program.
Okay. So that's why that was the first question I've asked. So far as you won't be stranded, and it is in accordance to your background.
If we ever think that a candidate cannot get a job when he graduates, trust me, you will not even get our loan.
Fantastic.
We're not a charity organization. We're a business, and we will only fund high potential people that we know can get job opportunities. If we think you cannot get a job when you graduate, you will not get our approval. And to be clearly stated in the letter of disapproval that we'll give to you, we're not scared to disapprove candidates, because it's not just about packing people out of Nigeria, out of Africa. You have to pack people that become success stories. And your success for us is very important. And we already know from just reviewing your work history, when you're uploading your loan application details, if you measure up or not.
Okay. All right. Sorry, second question is, I have two sisters. One is already in the University of Manitoba studying computer engineering. She's like halfway through her course.
Okay.
And obviously, I'm wondering, from the way things are going, it is very, very high. It is very high and likely that she can access this loan because she has already paid like 2 or 3 years fees already.
What level is she now?
She's in level 3 out of level 5.
Baba, if she has never paid at 200 level first semester. No, sorry, you said she's in level 3 out of level 5. So she's in a 5-year program.
Yes.
Okay, so she will need funding for her remaining 2 years.
Yes, exactly.
Baba, we can fund them. In fact, we have funded 3 candidates to the University of Manitoba currently.
Beautiful.
Once our own is even very easy, because once she gets approved, the money is disbursed immediately, because she's already in Canada.
Yeah, she's already in she's in Canada as we speak. So my second sister wants to do, because that's where I was asking about accounting. My second sister wants to do a BSc in accounting that would, if possible, have a CPA designation in association with her course. She just finished a 6-month work experience with a fintech company. Although she wasn't doing something core accounting, but it's related to finance. She finished secondary school, and then we just say, okay, let her have some work experience first. Can she be funded to the US?
So, unfortunately, we only fund current university undergraduates, either here or there.
Okay.
So it means that for her to qualify for our funding, She needs to have done at least the 2 or 3 years, depending on the program she's going for. We only fund the last 2 years of their education. So your sister in Canada currently, we can fund her because she has 2 years left of her program.
Okay.
But we cannot fund anyone that is not in school yet, whether you are here or whether you're already there.
So if she was in Unilag for like a year or 2 now, then you can try funding her.
At the current second semester, we'll fund her for January.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's all for now. Thank you.
Okay, boss. Thank you very much, boss. Okay, Ago Rebex, you have my floor.
It can be funded. Center University.
Ago Rebex, I'm unmuting you. Can you please unmute yourself? Yeah, you've unmuted yourself.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, well done, sir. Keep up the good work, sir. Sir, my own case is this. I already hold a master's in aquaculture, and at the same time, I'm planning to apply for a master's in animal science, either US or Canada, although I've started the journey. But is there any way you are going to allocate someone or appoint someone to me that will be my counselor, like a tour guide during the journey?
Oh, yes, Baba, everybody that joins our platform is allocated a manager. Everybody.
Okay.
You can't join our platform without we allocating a manager to you.
Okay.
Everybody that joins our platform is allocated a manager. So if you are going for a second MSc, for example, my advice would be that if you had a 2-1 in your first degree, this only if you have a 2-1 in your first degree, then you might not want to say you have a master's. Because somebody might read an eyebrow. If you already have a master's, why coming for another master's again? Now, unless you do not have a 2-1 or you're an HND graduate, then of course it will make sense for you to include your master's information in your application to give you an edge for Canada, because Canada will only admit you if you have a 2-1, or obviously you have a master's to back up your lack of a 2-1.
My case is
animal science will be fully funded.
Sir, my case is this. Actually, I had 2-1 in my undergraduate, and also at the same time, I have 4.3 something in my master's. But the problem there is that my first degree was pure animal science, that is general agriculture and area of specialty animal science. But I did my master's in aquaculture at University of Lagos. So I think going for a PhD, because I've been consulting, I've been reaching out to some professors abroad in the US. So I think securing an admission for a PhD seems to be dicey, because I think they are looking into my background in fisheries that is not really that sound. So for that reason, that is the main reason why I think, okay, let me consider another master's in animal science. Although, because my own area per se, I've been working on nutrition, and I want to continue on working on nutrition for animal veterinary hospital management. So,
okay,
that's
so we don't fund PhD candidates, unfortunately. We only do masters BSc, 2 years program. Okay. So like I already advised earlier, if you want to do an MSc animal science, we'll totally fund and support you.
Yeah, it is MSc animal science. I'm looking to MSc animal science or MSc in veterinary anesthesiology technicians.
Totally fine. So part of what I can also tell you is that when you join Japa Network, we'll give you the list of all of the schools we work with. We have a list of schools we work and partner with. So we'll just give you that list of STEM designated programs that will support. The list of STEM designated programs that will support.
I would love to read.
My question will be that take that first step, and of course joining the Japa Network. Once you join in, we can then counsel appropriately. But if you are clear about the fact that you want to do an MSc in animal science, then yeah, off my head, I can tell you for free that that's the program we obviously fund and support.
Okay, thank you. That is what I want to know for now. I'll keep in touch. Yeah.
Okay, Festus, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. This is Festus. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you need to speak out louder. Yeah,
hello, can you hear me? Okay, I have two questions actually. The
Okay.
first question is my daughter is in under level in the US of Ibadan. She's studying the human nutrition and dietetics. I'm looking at if I can put her in so that she can get an admission in US. Is there a possibility? That's the first question. Are you hearing
Okay.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. So you said she studied, she's a BSc graduate, right?
She's currently on level UI.
Okay, currently in 100 level in UI.
Yes.
So she will need to be in 200 level second semester for her to
Okay.
qualify for our services. We only fund
Okay.
200 level second semester candidates, because what it means is that from their 300 level, they can resume abroad.
Okay. All right. I will keep it for that. Then, secondly, in the
Yes,
course of
boss.
in the course of your presentation, you said that if you pay 22,000 now, you will not do KYC. And I also hear
Yes.
you talking about that if anybody is having loan in banks, credit bureau issues, that you might not be able to fund them. So I'm having an issue now. If somebody is having a loan in the banks and able to pay 22,000 naira now, does it mean he will be cleared because he has
Mm,
paid 22,000 naira?
no. That's a totally different ball game. If you pay our money fully to us, we don't need to run a credit check on you, because we know for a fact that you might not really have a credit issue. Yeah, some persons do have credit issues without realizing that they even have credit issues. So we have a way to verify that information
You know what
if you
I'm
are not
asking?
sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm asking. I am a federal government worker. I'm also having the desire to go for my MSc in bioinformatics, and I'm currently on a loan under in the bank. In fact, that's one of the bank that I have not served, have not paid. And there was a time I requested for my credit bureau, and they gave me a report that the bank has sent my BVN to them. Available, it means that my BVN is already with credit bureau. So let's assume now I decided to pay 22K now. What will happen? Am I going to be cleared? In fact, so that's my question.
So if you have a loan with a bank, so long as you are paying back your loan as at when due, we do not have any problem or business with you. You have a loan, whether it's with federal government or with private sector, so long as you are paying back your loan as at when due. When we run our credit check on you, that information, we don't even get to see it. What
I
we are
know,
checking
but
for is your credit worthiness. Whether you are owing money and you're not paying and you've been blacklisted. But we don't check that for you. Your payment certificate does not clear you from that. You are paying to access our services.
Okay, so the 22K does not clear you whether you have
No, it can't now. You are paying to access our services, not to clear your credit history. We only say that if you don't want to pay in full, you don't want to pay in full. You want to pay 12K now or 6.5. We have to run the credit check for you to be sure that you are legit, just to verify your identity. So it's two totally different things that you are understanding. But that's the clarification I'm giving now. You're paying 22K has nothing at all to do with KYC. It is strictly, I'm just paying to access the service. But I might not have 22K now to pay. Can I pay 12K? So yes, you can pay, but we need to be sure of your identity. We need to be sure that you are real. We need to also be sure that you do not have a bad credit history. But if you have a bad credit history, it means that if you pay us 12K now, you're not paying us our balance.
Okay, the last
But if
thing
you have a loan you are currently servicing and you're paying back your loan as at when due, we have no business at all. Even when we run the credit check on you, we will not see that information because we are not allowed to see it. The only thing we can see when we check you out is to see if you've been reported by anybody that you're owing, that you're not paying them.
It's okay. I think I understand what I wanted to know. I understand. No worry. I've already started. I've started talking with one of your colleagues, and we finished our discussion.
That's fine. Thank you very much, boss. Okay, Adeoye Israel, you have the floor.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for wonderful work and good job for people of Nigeria. Yeah, this is a high time to really join Japa network. Sincerely. Anyway, my question is this: I saw the list that the link I sent of the school that they support. All of them are Canada's. So I'm just like, we have been spoken on US and other countries, and those are not there. I don't know why such is like that. And that thing is just, I have a case of somebody that said from the chat he said he has already applied for Empower, but he has not been seeing their response, as maybe he has not gotten the loan. Yeah, it's applicable to me as well. So I want to ask that in applying as well, can someone just apply again with Japa network as well, so that it will be a good balancing, that okay, if one is this and they can at least work with this. Thank you.
Okay, so the question that Yusuf is asking is a totally if Yusuf has applied for a loan and of course didn't apply to us, whatever Yusuf has applied to is totally his responsibility. To the UK, Yusuf, just answer your question, and of course related to what the question that Adoye has asked. Like I already mentioned, we only fund high income earners to the UK. So if you're not an high income earner, forget the UK. UK loan is not for people that want to Japan. You strictly want to go, study abroad, and come back home to your very good job. So you can pay the money from here. Because you're not bothered, you are earning so well. Now, to the question you asked, Adeoye, let me ask a question. Are you a member of the Japan network? Let me unmute you. Please unmute yourself.
Okay.
Are you
I got the link yesterday, and I was very glad to have it. So I said, let me listen to this. Then I'll become family. Yeah.
Okay. So you're obviously not a member of the Japan network yet.
Yes.
So my advice would be that come into the network. When you come into the network, loan application processing.
So being a member, will I get other country with their school that you support?
So the only countries that you and any other person that does not earn 40, because I'm very sure that you don't earn 40 million naira. If you earn 40 million naira, your voice will be deeper, to be choking because you're earning 40 million. So that's just a joke. So, but like I said, our loan for everybody, like what you call Goodwill in Yoruba, is is US and Canada.
Okay.
Anybody wanting to apply to the UK or to France or to Germany, we don't use that partner that he has mentioned. It's a totally different partner that we utilize. And those guys say that they only want high income earners.
All right,
because
thank you.
The bank that sets the rule. So when the bank says that this is the kind of people I want to be giving my money to, you cannot change that policy. Ordinarily, if you go directly to those guys, they might tell you to bring your land, bring your collateral, bring cosigno, which we all know that we cannot get from Africa. So people come to us just to cut out all of those flexibility requirements, because we are now the ones that do the initial due diligence on all of our candidates before they are recommended to begin their loan application. So take that first step, join the network. Like I said, I can beat my chest and say this anywhere, anytime. So long as you do not have a bad credit history with any financial institution, if you follow the guidance and the advice that we give in choosing courses that we deem commercially relevant, you are 100% guaranteed that your loan will be approved. But remember, loan approval is not even the most important part, because anybody can get loan approved. The most important part is getting an admission. And that is when we get to guide you with the manager we allocate to you. We guide you. We don't help you for admission. We don't influence admission. We just guide you. But you are solely responsible for your admission processing. So my last question for today, before we call it quits by 2:30. Ambrose, you have the floor. Okay, Ambrose, you can unmute yourself. So please, for every one of us, I haven't gotten invited to this webinar. I believe a colleague of mine would have invited you for this webinar. Please ensure you go back to that colleague of ours and tell them that you are interested in, of course, joining the network, so that it's easier for you to get the account number and also get your information after you make your payment. If you are here, please just go back to the person that invited you to this webinar, their colleagues of ours, so that we can easily get your information when, of course, we make your payments. Ambrose, you have the floor.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, boss, loud and clear.
Yeah, actually, your last answer to the last question was the question I actually wanted to ask. Now, two things are involved now. Now, you're saying we, like, as a potential person that wants to make a request now, do I need to apply for the school myself, or you're going to get me a mentor that's going to put me through the process of getting an admission to any of this university in abroad? Because I'm an HND holder, and at least I have like 15 years experience.
Wow, that's very good one. Very good one, man. Very good one.
DSC. Yes, we deal with DSC. But America, US would have been the best advantage for me. But I find it hard to apply to those schools because I don't know who to talk to. Somebody that could probably mentor, you know.
What program are you interested in, Ambrose?
Now, in two ways now. Is there a way I can apply for postgraduate diploma or postgraduate certificate? I know that postgraduate certificate is a year course. So I don't know if you have any school that you could probably.
So Ambrose, what course do you to go for?
My own question. Then again, what is the process of getting the loan?
Sorry, wait.
Okay, I study art. Now I'm thinking if I can go, I have two courses. I'm thinking of going for the course that can be in line with my profession now, because I actually changed my career when I graduated. I'm into broadcast now. So I'm thinking of going to a course that is still in the line of broadcast. Secondly, I want to go for like maybe project management or supervisor or maybe supply chain. Those are the two courses that I'm having in mind. But I need a method that can put me through. I want the one that I will apply that I can easily get an admission for. So that's my question.
Okay.
Then
So
quite important.
So first things first, Ambrose, like I said, so like I mentioned before, when you join the Proconnectpay Japa network, we get to allocate a manager to you. Now that manager that's allocated to you, obviously is the one that gets to guide you. I asked an important question which already answered, that you work in broadcast, you work in journalism, you work in media. We have a STEM designated media program in a school in New York. I don't know, I can't, I think it's New York, if I remember the name of the school, that we can recommend to you to apply for. But if I now say that, oh, but can I go for something in one of these areas you just mentioned? Except you've worked in supply chain, Baba, going to go and apply for an admission in supply chain without appropriate work experience in supply chain will not give you an admission. No, it won't. Your HND does not matter. What matters is your work experience, and you already have quality work experience by way of your 15 years work experience. So my advice would be to go for a course that's consistent with your program. And luckily, we have a STEM designated media MSc program you can go for that gives you 3 years OPT once you graduate from the school in the US. And it's easy for you to justify why you want to go for a master's that aligns with your work experience. On our platform, we don't do all those aimless, purposeless kind of master's program. No, we don't. You cannot switch course just because you want to Japa. It doesn't work that way on our platform at all. We only form candidates to go for courses that is consistent with their work history. So if you're going to go for a program of this nature, my advice would be go for a master's, a media-related master's, consistent with your work history. And it's a STEM designated program. So it means you have 3 years automatic work experience, work opportunity. 3 years is sufficient enough for anybody to have built consistency and excellence for you to not be retained permanently through a PR. So I believe I've answered your question. Let me just take the last 2 questions on the group, on the chat, and I'm done. I studied biochemistry. I've been teaching in the school. I want to apply for healthcare job. So Monica, that is an extremely wrong mindset. And that kind of mindset we don't entertain at all on our platform. You study biochemistry, you have a tutor, you work as a teacher. How on earth do you want to apply for an healthcare job? How and why? Like, why? You don't have any experience working in healthcare. Why do you want to go for an healthcare program? When we do things like this, we shoot ourselves on the leg because you assume that everything you've been doing in Nigeria before totally dies out. I'm starting my life all over again. No, no. Your work history in Nigeria matters. And it's that work history back up with your MSc that will give you good opportunities when you graduate. First and foremost, so in Tutu, you will never get admission in Canada. It's not a course, it's just reality. Canada don't admit you to graduates. You will have to focus on the US. A US school will be willing to admit you. Let me imagine you are teaching chemistry because you study biochemistry. You can go for an MSc in biochemistry. You can go for an MSc in pharmaceutical sciences in the US. Schools will be willing to admit you, even if you work as a teacher and you teach chemistry. You do laboratory work. You can use that as your basis for applying for this program. Because of the teaching background, you add teaching practically and theoretically chemistry and biochemistry principles. That's how you package your SOP. But you just suddenly want to jump into healthcare. It doesn't work like that. And please, my advice is that do not allow anyone deceive you or give you wrong information. Your work experience here matters. Even if it's teaching, it's relevant to the opportunities you will get and to the admission you will get. And if there's anything we know in Proconnectpay that we do is we don't lie. We don't manipulate information. We don't tell you what you want to hear. We'll say the truth and stand by that truth. Because our business is built on integrity. So we'll never try to tell you what you want to hear because we just want to pay and join our platform. No, or come and collect our loan. No. We always say the truth the way it is. So if your husband wants to also go abroad, it's totally fine and welcome to join our Japa network, and the both of you can work towards US. Like we usually tell our candidates, if your goal is Canada, my dear, it is easy for you to get a Canadian PR when you're in the US already. Very easy. Because you're coming with two things. You're coming with American education and also coming with American work experience. Very easy to get Canada PR when you're applying from the US. You will get it seamlessly if that is the final goal. But your decision to study abroad should not be driven by what some ignorant persons told you or what they said is raining. No, it should be driven by your desire to give yourself a quality education that guarantees you good opportunities for you to have an excellent career. So you have to take that decision on your own as an adult that this is what I want to do because it benefits me professionally. Not based on what your family advised or what your husband advised you or what somebody has said somewhere. No. Health, communication, and aging. Yeah. Kali, we don't support that kind of course. So this is the first time I'm hearing that kind of course title. Health, communication, and aging. Hey. No, sir, you need to go for a more STEM inclined, health-oriented course that will support. So please, appointment, can we drop the link to our chat one more time so that every other person that has any further question or clarification can ask their questions. Please, if you know you came in through someone invited you to a meeting like our colleagues, you can just easily chat them up and let them know that you're ready to get started. We're totally grateful for your time, for all of the questions that were asked, for all of the clarity that were sought. We hope, of course, to serve you, and we hope that you take that first step and join the Proconnectpay Japan